Drop the pay-per-view one more time. Okay. That might have done it.
We look fine now.
It looks fine now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody. The gremlins hopefully are gone.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that was.
All
Well,
right.
anyway, yeah. Well, I was just saying. I think the problem is that the process has been swapped in terms of early access, where you pay first and then you get the game, which is what you normally do for a normal game, but it's not a normal game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think another problem that's kind of seeped into it is that it's a good idea for indie creators, for people
Yes.
who are maybe like 5 or 10 guys in the basement working on it in their spare time. They need money to help finish the project because they need more resources. But whenever you have, say, EA, Activision, Epic, and these other big name publishers and developers saying, hey, we're gonna need more money to fund all this, we're like, no, you fucking don't. You have enough money. You have your record profits that you can back off of. You don't need more money to try
God.
to get. You don't need more money for this. You're just doing that because you're greedy assholes, and
Ugh.
that where I think the biggest problem comes in.
Record profits. That has to be our next topic.
Oh, God.
It has to be.
Record profits.
Yeah. Now let's fuck over 800 people. No.
Yeah.
But
kinda rough.
anyways, now what we're talking about this time.
That's right. Early access demos.
Yeah. I mean, it's true that it's good for the indie crowd of developers. I still feel, though, that indie or not, if it's not done, you can't ask for money up front. If you are getting money up front, then you have to be treated more as an investor than a consumer.
I think the other reasoning behind that is that I would not agree with that is when it came to PC games, for as long as you can remember, there's always been updates, whether they were free or they were paid. So once you bought the game, you were always under the impression that, at any given moment, they're going to drop an update for this game. And even though I paid for it, that update will be anything from fixes to additional content. And in a weird way, early access is kind of that also. You're getting something that's playable. It may not have the target gameplay amounts or the target features or whatever that they plan for the full version, but you're still able to play it. And then, they basically tell you, play it, give us info, feedback, da-da-da-da. We're going to update this thing, up until whenever. With PUBG, we're going to update this thing until infinity. But, you know what I mean? But again, it's like...
Technically, it has a 1.0 version.
Yes, it does now.
1.0 is just...
now. Yeah,
it does now. They officially released it like, what, a year ago or something like that? Or last year, maybe? Something like that.
Yeah.
Depends on the platform.
Yeah, it depends on the platform. But, again, you're technically getting something that is playable, even though it's early access. What they charge for it at that point can be, can certainly be up for debate, because I've seen a lot of them that have paid, something cheap like $20 or $30 or whatever for early access, and then $60 for whatever their full release is. But at least with the early access, if you bought it at early access, you don't have to buy the full version. Once the full version comes out, you basically have it already.
Yeah, but that's a gamble. That's a gamble, and which is
That's the
why
whole purpose of that's the whole purpose of the program.
but that's why I
Um,
say at that point you're an investor, not a consumer. Because even I mean you're right because like the PC games has always has updates and new content and everything like that, but most games do nowadays, including on console. There's
right.
nothing wrong with additional content after the game has been released. But when the game is released, you have a 1.0. You have what you're calling a finished product. You
Mhm.
have something that if you wanted to play it later on in that state, you could. You can't do that with early access. It's always changing because that's the point. It's not done.
Yep. But that's
That,
the whole purpose of the program. They tell you up front, if you're
mhm,
uncomfortable with paying for a game that's not finished, that is
mhm.
going to constantly change, then don't touch it. That's the point of the program. They're like,
That is true.
we want you guys to be able to get your hands on it. We want you guys to give us feedback. We want to be able to change it for you, and you can be a part of the process. But we're charging for it. So it's not like it's boom, you have to or you can't get the full game. It's like, hey, if you don't want to be a part of that process,
Mhm.
don't pay for it. It's there's always the choice. But the point of the program is kind of twofold for the developer. They want to be able to get, like for PUBG, I think it was absolutely imperative that they did something in early access because
Mhm.
any game that's online only that
Mhm.
completely depends on their server, the connectivity, and
Mhm.
all that interaction, that in order for them to get it right and to make it playable in the way that they wanted it, they couldn't do it behind closed doors in a satisfactory way. So for them to have early access was actually a huge blessing for them because it.
I'm not against the idea of early access.
Mm,
It's really more about the monetization because you're absolutely right. If anything, I would say that there's a lot more companies that should have a lot more betas so that it's something ready. Like I was hinting at
a
before
lot
that
more.
Anthem looks like it's not going to be ready because of the servers. A lot of people who are getting that game early are already saying it's not running well on the servers because now there's a whole bunch of people on there and it's not handling the game well.
Mm,
I I think Anthem should have probably had a lot more servers before because BioWare is a great company and they do RPGs extremely well. RPGs though are a single player game. They are not really adapt to online play. So they should have done a whole bunch of betas, which would also have given it more promotion, by the way, and the game more promotion, and nip that in the bud because then they don't know what they're doing. They go, okay, that's fine. We're going to learn
well,
what we're doing.
it's not that they don't know what they're doing. It's just that there's the way I look at the Anthem situation is kind of twofold. First off, they're screwed because they're with EA. You know,
Okay, yeah.
and I
goes
don't
back.
say that, and I don't say that to be mean about EA, but
Yeah, you
EA
can say that
saying,
to be mean to EA. You can say that.
my thing with that is EA wants them to use a specific engine that
Mhm.
isn't really catered towards role playing games.
Yeah.
And because of that, they're shoehorning a role playing game into that game engine. And that's
Mhm.
the first thing, right? The second thing, they actually have done multiplayer to a degree
Yeah, I
relatively
mean,
well with the Mass Effect games. So it's not that they don't know how to do it. It's the problem is Anthem is at a like 100-fold scale
yeah, this is a different
because
beast.
because this is the Mass Effect multiplayer all the time with a bunch more people on the
Mhm.
same server, or at least that's
Yeah.
the intent. I don't know if that's how it'll actually be once you get into the game, but you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be massive, so there's supposed to be a bunch more people on that same
MMO-esque.
server. Yeah, so I agree that they definitely should have had more time, but of course, you get to a certain point in your development in terms of tweaking things and doing whatever. You have to get to where they got to. When was that? When they did the beta, the closed beta, or the closed beta and the open beta. You got to push it out there, and you got to do exactly what they said. This is a beta. We're trying to see if our servers can handle it. We're going to see what we can do. because the whole networking thing is not that it's foreign for them, it's just difficult. You know,
I'm
every
sure, like,
networking game has issues and problems when you get to that kind of scale or whatever of people jumping on it.
you know, we haven't played the game yet. I haven't really heard anything about how the game is playing, like whether or not it's, you know, like actually fun. It's just that, you know, it's having connectivity issues. I'm sure like the date, you know, February, when's it coming out? The 22nd or whatever.
Yep.
That was, you know, nailed down, you know, a couple of years ago, you know, because that's usually how it happens. They go, look, you got this much time. This is when it's going to come out.
I bet you they didn't really get that release date until like maybe sometime last year, because you know they have to get to a certain point where they're actually comfortable with what they have, you know, before they can say, okay, we're at this gate, and then the shareholders or whatever, okay, you're at this gate, you have blah 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 time for the release. You know, once you tell us you're at that gate, we're setting the time frame that we're releasing this. And then they take a look at the gamosphere, you know, in terms of what other games are being released. And then they, you know, and then they pinpoint it and say, okay, this looks like a good week. Boom. This is your
maybe
week.
I would argue that the shareholders would be like, you have nothing for this quarter. You need something. What do you have up the pipe? Oh, you have a game from BioWare. Make sure it's out by this point. That would be my guess. Or the shareholders.
It could be
the shareholders route, which absolutely EA is going to do because they're beholden by them like crazy. Yeah, they would probably be like, you need something for this quarter, and they would look at the big titles that they have and go, that one needs to be here, that one needs to be there, so et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily quarter, because you know their games are the games from those developers are spaced out by years and not by quarters. So I'm not certain they go by quarters necessarily. But I do see what you're saying. They're probably looking at it as like at their total bill of what they have, and they're like, okay, we need a big game in this space on this year, and we need, you know, at least 2 big games. Which one of our developers are going to be dropping those? What gate is BioWare at? What gate is Respawn at? Okay, we want it Doom. We want this one Doom.
Yeah, and might I say, really great work on EA's part to put Respawn next to one of their other major developers.
Yeah.
Twice in a row, mind you. Because they
this is the second time.
Shit with Titanfall 2, only this time it's Anthem getting the shaft, because guess what? Respawn's an actual good developer.
Yeah. Well, they were also a good developer before, but it's just they were up against DICE. And then you know what? Here's the thing. I entirely expected this to have gotten the shaft too. I think EA put out Apex Legends expecting it to get the shaft and not to work.
No, I don't think they did. I don't think they expected it not to work or anything. I think they did exactly what they were trying to do. They were like, hey, you know, let us know when it's done, because number one, it's free to play, which means they can get money from it hand over foot as long as it's ready, which it was. And they were like, just release it, because they weren't expecting anything from them. The only thing,
yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, the only thing, not that they weren't expecting anything good from them. They just weren't expecting them to release a game or whatever, a full-fledged game. And they were like, hey, guess what? You know, we got this.
It's rather... It almost seems rather scummy for EA to do this to Respawn. First of all, given what they've done to Titanfall 2, given that it was critically praised, but dusted under the rug because they don't know what to do with scheduling. And then I think we heard about Apex Legends less than a week before it actually launched. I
don't remember hearing anything about it at all. I think
I saw a press release for that.
Really just like a news story saying...
I saw a press release for that, and they said they wanted it that way.
Yeah.
They didn't ask for it to be promoted or what. They were like, we want to just put it out there, and we want people to react to it. Because people, when they were like, when people see Respawn, they're going to want to see Titanfall 3. So if we tell them we're not putting out Titanfall 3, they're going to be upset, which was the reason why they were like, look, you know what? Just put it out there. Don't even tell them that it's coming, because they'll be upset that it's not Titanfall 3. That was that. So for them, that's what they planned in that respect. So I don't think in terms of them dropping it in this time frame necessarily was scummy, because if you think about it, when you got a free to play game or whatever, there's no good or bad time to release it. Just put it out there as soon as you can, because the whole monetization portion of it is going to rake in money if you do it correctly. You know, it's just like, put it out there. Because, I mean, think about it. When Fortnite came out, do you remember hearing a whole lot of hoopla about it outside the one little bit or piece that you may have seen at E3? No. They didn't really do a whole lot. They just...
Because there was no Battle Royale at the time. The Battle Royale mode came later. And then
right, and they didn't promote that either. They just dropped it in there. Yeah, it wasn't like they put it's not like they put any big major promotional push behind it, because it's free to play. People are going to be in there, they're going to try it out because it's free.
Yeah.
And that's about as much promotion as you need for most free to play games. You know, put it out there, throw, you know, something little out there, and the word of mouth is going to get out there, because you got so many people, you got your user base is going to be so relatively big once it's finally out there. Now, whether it's sustained or not is based on the quality of the actual game that's there.
Well, okay. Here's the thing that I think we have to remember. One, when I say they were that EA was expecting them to do like nothing, that's not to say that the game wasn't going to be good. Titanfall 2 was good. Respawn makes good stuff. It's just that doesn't mean that it sells, and usually it's because of bad planning, it seems. Even if it's from Respawn, I would even tell them, dude, that was a bad idea. But whenever a company that's owned by EA says, no, this was our idea, I don't believe them, because I've heard that before in the past. Maxis said the same thing about SimCity when they said, oh no, we want it to always be online and there's no other way that we can do this. And that turned out to be bullshit too. I've always heard this. I've heard this song and dance with EA before. Yeah. And the fact that they have to come out and say, no, this is how we have to do it, knows that they know it too.
Yeah, but again, for this game, I think because of like I was saying before, I think because of the nature of the game itself, I don't think it's one of those animals that you necessarily need to put a major push behind. You know, it's like I was saying before, it's Battle Royale, which is the end thing, and it's free.
And here's also
you put that in there, you don't need a major push.
Here's also the other thing. I'm sure EA was, even just dumping it out when they did, I would say that they saw this as maybe just a quick kind of like hopeful boost that would tie them over until the Battle Royale that they were planning for Battlefield comes out.
Yeah. No, I think this was the battle plan from the jump. Every game that comes out right now, they're probably saying we want a Battle Royale mode. I bet you right now some portion of DICE right now is working on a Battle Royale version of Star Wars Battlefront also. You know, because if you think about it, just about every game, you know, that's been coming out that's a shooter has a Battle Royale. So they're like, we're putting Battle Royale on everything. And when it's done, throw it out there and just tell them that it's out there. You know what I mean? It's the thing now.
Look, if I was DICE, and hell, even if I was Electronic Arts, I would put something fucking bare bones out on Battlefront, because that franchise is never recovering. They put out 2 games that have been such PR disasters. That franchise is never recovering. And the third one, if you're contractually obligated to make that, then I just wouldn't even fucking bother. I would just put out basically
surprising. It really, to me, it's surprising because I don't think it's a great game.
Waste your money.
I love it.
Is not going to do things good for you.
Everyone's the numbers.
Boycott it. It's going to be such bad PR for you that don't even waste the money.
Yeah.
Don't even waste the money.
I've got a feeling that
if you are going to put Battle Royale in it, just put whatever the hell it is that is going to be in Battlefield.
No, honestly, I've got a feeling that EA is either going to do something dumb and they're going to like drop it. Mm-hmm. You know, they're like either going to end up just dropping DICE altogether, just out of the blue, or they're gonna do one of those Activision Bungie, not Bungie, one of those Activision, Activision Bungie deals where they're just like, you know what, we're gonna part ways. Dice, you can go and take your Battlefield franchise. We're keeping Star Wars Battlefront because we got Star Wars and we're keeping that. And here you can have it. You go do your own thing. We're gonna go buy some other nitwit developer that wants the shiny.
Here's the problem that I feel like Electronic Arts is notorious for closing studios. That's the thing. Like they've taken up a studio, drained all the life from it, and then shoved it off. And that's, I think, where me and Esteban are at with Respawn. Because if you think back at just the most recent history for it, you had the original Titanfall. And people were getting onto it. Like, it did reasonably well, but it didn't have a campaign. It only had the online mode. And it did okay. And then when Titanfall 2 came out, like we said before, it was stuck between a rock and a hard place, quite literally. And
it still didn't have enough content.
Yeah.
It really just didn't. It was... When I played the thing about Titanfall 2 was it felt like Titanfall 2 is what Titanfall 1 should have been when it first came out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was almost like an update. It didn't feel like a sequel. It felt like an update.
And then
I would say it was like a substantial expansion.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's probably even a better word for it. It was like an expansion. They didn't do enough to really make it feel like a sequel. And when people realized that, they were just like, oh, it's more of the same? No, thank you. So it wasn't that the game wasn't good. It wasn't that they didn't have a decent amount of content. They just didn't have enough innovation in what they had already done
They
to really bring more people in.
They should have marketed a bit more kind of like I can't believe I'm actually saying this is a good idea, but kind of like how Nintendo did with Splatoon 2. Let's be honest, that's not a real sequel.
I don't know. I've never played Splatoon, but okay.
Well, Splatoon 1 was on
Wii U.
And it was on the Switch, so
Yeah,
it makes sense to market it as a sequel.
Yeah, they market it as a sequel. They call it as a sequel, and I mean, there's some new maps and there's a couple of new weapons, but I mean, like the campaign is like almost the same thing, and the setup is almost the same thing,
or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's just for some reason Nintendo decided they didn't want to go the Splatoon Deluxe route like they did with Mario Kart. It would have been better if it was like Titanfall Redux or something like that. And it's like it's got a campaign now,
right?
And,
yeah.
And then even like that, like from what I understand in Titanfall 2, like the maps are different, right?
Yeah,
like
they were a little different.
It would have been better if it was like a Redux, because then it's like, it's got the original maps and everything, but look at all these new maps that are included, because this is actually a full game now.
Right, yeah. But there's all different. I'm certain there's probably even more reasons why Titanfall 2 didn't do.
But I mean, regardless of that, man, that was a tangent.
It's like it was an EA tangent. But I mean,
well, anyway, Titanfall 1 was kind of like a demo.
Well, what we were really talking about, like,
BJ, I don't want to say beta because actually Titanfall 1 had a beta. I played it.
Yes, I did.
I mean, with Apex Legends the way it is, and then Fortnite and all these freemium games coming out, like you said, BJ, people see, oh yeah, it's free, might as well go and download it. It's not going to cost me anything. And that's why I feel like demos and open betas come in, where it's just like, well, it's not going to cost me anything, especially if it is a free demo.
Just time.
Beta. Yeah,
right.
You have to invest your time. And once you have that investment, then you can get people going in saying, hey, this is great. Unless you put something out there saying, oh, no, don't worry, we'll fix it. Don't worry, we're going to have more content post-game. Trust me, we're going to have more content. Right, guys? Please don't leave us.
So let me ask you guys this, because my memory is horrific when it comes to that kind of thing. Okay. Me personally, I do not remember there being that many open or closed betas for any game that wasn't a multiplayer game. Is that a good uh, recollection?
I am almost positive that that has mostly been the case. I'm almost positive that there has been a beta for like a single player game for some reason, but for the most part, sure.
Right, because I'm trying to think, because we're talking betas and demos
Yeah.
and the performance of both, and it's kind of interesting because when you get to demos, you typically think of a demo as a free version, a free level or so of a particular game that only allows you to get to a certain point, and they're like, hey, if you like this, buy the full thing. Thank you. But it's completely playable. It's done. It's finished. It's not like it.
So it's a vertical slice of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas your betas and your alphas and your betas
Yeah.
are. I have a hard time saying they're unfinished versions, mainly because for the most part they're done. They just have to tweak it so that the performance is better, and they're doing it for the in terms of making certain the servers are served right, tweaked right, or whatever.
I have an answer for you, BJ. Sean, I think you've been wanting to say something.
Yeah. The thing with like alphas are the more unfinished ones where
Yeah.
they actually need to do major improvements. If you're talking about betas, that's when they need to do those minor tweaks, make sure the servers can handle everything, that it doesn't crash every time you turn around, and then you have that finished product. And if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the single player demos that I've been seeing or that I saw beforehand were attached to the purchase of another game. You had God of War Ascension, or you had like the Final Fantasy 15 demo attached to Final Fantasy Type 0. Or
beta. Like, they do that too. You get access to betas as a selling point now. Mostly for pre-orders, but whatever.
In like the single player content, that's where I kind of like get a lot of this kind of stuff. Like even back in the PS1 days, PS1, PS2, you had
the demo disc.
Well, not just the demo disc. Look at Crash 3 or the Spyro trilogy. You input a code into the Spyro 1, 2, or 3, and you get a demo for some Crash games. And then same thing for those Crash games. You input a code, you get a demo for the Spyro games. And then I think Zone of the Enders had a Metal Gear Solid 2 demo.
Yes, yeah. That's what sold on Zone of the Enders to begin with.
Okay.
It's kind of like how Crackdown was only sold because you had the Halo 3 beta.
Nice.
Yeah. So, like, it's...
I remember that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's one of those things that makes me think, yeah, there was single-player demos, but they were just attached to another game or, as Esteban pointed out, a demo disc.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what the distinction is. A demo it's a vertical slice of the game that's completed. For the most part, it should be bug free. It's ready to go. It's just a small portion of the game, and it's meant to give you a taste of what it is. If anything, it's promotion, which I'm fine with because it tells me exactly what I'm getting into for the most part, and it says, if you like this, why don't you buy the game? And I'm like, it's kind of like a try before you buy. I have no problem with that. I think that's great. With alpha and beta, it's more like the game is not done yet. Alpha, it's more rough than beta. Usually a beta is like an alpha build might sometimes not even have some game mechanics in the game yet. A beta, it's usually like concept-wise, it's done. We already know what we're going to do. We're not going to be changing anything. It's just bug fixes, and in terms of multiplayer games, server stress tests.
Yeah.
I say that because, like I said, I know I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know there's been like a beta for a single-player game. I know that sounds dumb, but that absolutely exists somewhere.
Yeah,
And,
I
and if you break it
know
down,
it
like I
does.
told you, like it's just about bug tests and concept, like reaffirmation, like, oh, this is what the mechanic's going to be, then it makes sense. It's just that we never see it.
Yeah.
Because especially when you think of it, even though the public doesn't get alphas and betas, there's absolutely 100% alphas and betas of single player games in the development process that
Was
people
there a
play.
beta for Dragon Age
I wouldn't know
Inquisition
that.
I
or for Mass Effect Andromeda? There was a beta for that, right?
Maybe for the multiplayer, but
yeah.
I
'Cause I'm thinking
I want to say there
there
was,
was
but
a Doom beta, but the Doom beta was for the multiplayer.
yeah,
It
that
wasn't a
was
single player aspect of it.
right.
I
Because
don't
I
know.
remember playing that. That was cool. That was fun.
Yeah.
I was surprised it was that much fun.
You know what I just remembered?
Mhm.
Like I know we came up with this topic weeks ago. I just remembered this. Does anyone remember going into like a Walmart or a Target and they had the console set up right there, or even GameStop,
Mhm.
where you had like the console set up, and then you had like a bunch of games that you could just try out there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then if you saw something that you liked, you got it like right there. It's just like, hey mom, I want to get this. And your mom said no, it's too expensive. And then you begged her and pleaded her, and then she said no, and then you walked out of the store and then you cried. Or was that just me?
No, that's me too.
Yeah. Okay. Making sure. But like even like games that like even a GameStop I've walked into last year, I think, and there was a 3DS there with a demo of Pokemon, or a PlayStation Vita with a demo of whatever the PlayStation Vita had at the time, because Lord knows it doesn't have anything now. Rest in peace, sweet Prince. Anyway,
I still want a Vita. I don't even care that it's dead. I still want one.
I've got one, but I'm pissed because I can't. Because I want to just turn it into an emulator. But that's, you know what I mean? That's all I want to do with it. I want to turn my Vita into an emulator, but doing so is like really, from my understanding, is no simple task once you've already updated it and everything.
yeah.
You know?
The problem with the Vita trying to like break it and put a basically make an emulator machine out of it is the fact that the PSP, which I also have hanging up back there, was notorious to be easy to hack.
Yeah.
So whenever they made the Vita, they said, okay, we're going to make this completely opposite and make it as hard as hell to hack.
Yeah.
So that's why you can still find like people wanting to buy PSPs.
Yeah, PSPs, yeah.
Funny story, that PSP I got there came pre-hacked. I
Nice.
bought that used at a used game store, and it came pre-hacked.
Awesome.
Final Fantasy Tactics.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, like stuff like that.
So yeah, I'm stuck playing my real Vita games.
Oh, right. But no, like I remember that shit, and I remember like
No, I remember that. I remember one time going to Best Buy and they had a thing set up for the Xbox, and I'm like, what the hell is this thing? And I played Oddworld Munch's Odyssey for the first time through the demo that they had there. And I had missed the Oddworld train. I never played any of them on the PlayStation. So that was the first one I had played. I'm like, what the hell is this weird ass character looking? Looks like a fleshy like can of beans. I don't know.
Pretty much.
It's weird with like webbed feet.
And big eyes.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. This is weird, but it just controls like a platformer, so I can do this. It's weird though.
yeah. I don't know. It just kind of like hit that big punch of nostalgia for me, like just seeing those in stores and like,
Demos are great.
Yeah, it's a shame they don't have them anymore. I understand why, because those controllers were always sticky, and it was just not.
Well, you know what part of the problem was? Because I remember I used to work at Best Buy when Best Buy was first, going on the up and up and everything, and they had demo stations for a lot of different for their consoles, and demo stations for music even when I was working there.
Oh, okay.
And a part of the problem, even I think GameStop tried to stop doing so, is there were a lot of locations where kids would skip school and spend hours at a GameStop or at a Best Buy playing a demo or whatever. And, it's one of those things where if you work at the store, you can't just go over there and say, hey, excuse me, kid, push them off or get them off or whatever, because, either the parent's nearby or the parent's not there, and, they'll get upset, and, then you'll get a lawsuit or whatever. It's a touchy situation when you're trying to get a kid to get off of something that's intended to be played in the store.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where they kind of like, a lot of them backed off. Even like a lot of the retro stores. I remember a lot of retro stores had like old school Super Nintendos and everything all set up to play, and they stopped doing it too for the same reason. They were getting little groups of kids that would come hang out, and they'd spend hours at the store not buying anything, just sitting there playing those full size and demo size games at the store. So
yeah.
That's weird. I never did that. I hung out at the arcade.
That's because you actually had a conscience. There are a lot of kids that don't. They're just like, I don't give a crap. I want to play this game all the time. I'm going to skip school and I'm going to play it for like 2 hours. And who cares whether the store owner wants me to or not.
I guess you're right, because once arcades died out, which was actually fairly soon in my city, like I keep looking around, like for most places apparently they kept going out throughout the 90s, and my place where I lived just decided in 1995 fuck arcades or something, because they just all died like all that year.
A lot of them did.
But after that happened, I just went home.
Yeah.
Like, well, shit. There's games at my house.
Yeah. And it's weird, and I know this is a weird tangent, but a part of me feels like some places actually felt like video game arcades were not good for kids to congregate, because the kids would congregate at the video game place and do bad stuff because the arcade was the only place where you could congregate. So they felt like, oh, video games are bad because all the bad things happen because of the arcades and all the little badass kids going there and congregating there. And I'm like, oh.
Just like in the I believe it's the 1990 masterpiece, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, where they had an arcade, but it was really to get kids in so that they can be inside the Foot Clan.
Yes, that's true.
That's right.
I remember that.
It was like an arcade.
And they were recruiting them for the evil Foot Clan.
Yeah, I'll join a gang and like steal things at the docks as long as I get to play Double Dragon 2.
That's right. That's awesome. Thank you, movies.
Yeah. That was a weird sound. Demos are great. I have no idea why they died off in like the stores and stuff like that. I wish they would come back more for like more recent releases. I will also say though that I do understand that it's difficult, because usually to make a demo, the development team has to kind of like stop what they're doing and like polish up this one little slice so it's good to throw out there.
And ends at the right point.
Yeah. I still feel like promotion wise, it's a good thing though. It's worth it. I think it's worth the effort. I understand.
I think it depends on the game. There's some games that are just like, you either like us or you don't because we're big. It's like Red Dead Redemption, you don't want a demo. It's like either you want it or you don't. It's like, demo be damned.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things like that. And then my mind also goes back to things like PT when that came out, because that was a demo. That was a playable teaser, which in all intents and purposes is basically a demo, just like a trailer for a movie gives you a taste of the movie.
Yeah.
Like having something like that, just putting it out there to kind of gauge interest or to get excitement. I also think the Resident Evil recently with Resident Evil 7 and the Resident Evil 2 remake did a good job with demos as well. Putting it out there saying, hey, here's this small portion of a level, or here's some of this background story that you can play,
Mhm.
or hey, play this, see how far you can get in 30 minutes. Good luck, chump.
Yeah. And that kind of pissed me off. I kind of wish there was no time limit.
Well, even then, I mean, it gave you a sense of urgency. I mean, it's either that or put in a gigantic hulking man following you everywhere.
I would have liked it if like, hey, you can explore whatever you want, but if you beat it within 30 minutes, then you get the extra cutscene that's at the end.
Yeah.
You know, like incentive to do, not you have to do it this way.
Yeah.
People just don't like to be told what to do. That's all. Yeah, I think that wraps it up, right?
I also got one other question, and
Okay.
just kind of like
Spaghetti. Oh, sorry.
Yes, definitely. If you could think back at like a demo that you played that said, okay, I played this demo or I played this open beta that made me want to buy the game. Can you think of any games that did that for you? Like, was the demo
Yeah,
actually?
Oh my god. And I hate to say this, Destiny.
Oof. that had the opposite effect on me. I played it like, no.
I honestly was not planning on buying Destiny until I played the beta. And I had fun playing the beta, and I was like, oh, this seems like it would be fun. It's got a decent amount of stuff for me to shoot and to search for. Let us play. Purchase.
To be perfectly honest, a lot of games have done that for me. Most recently, I got Resident Evil 2 because of that demo. Even though while I was playing, I was like, no, this is too scary for me. I went back and I kept thinking about it because of the way that it controlled. I keep saying this. Resident Evil 2 controls so fucking good, especially for a horror game. Resident Evil 2 pretty much proves that you didn't need tank controls and like some sort of something prohibiting you,
Stopping you from moving when you
from
aim.
moving everything in order to make it scary. Because that's always the defense. Like, oh, you needed the tank control so that it would enhance the horror part.
Right.
Resident Evil 2 says, no, you fucking don't. And that's the reason why I decided to go with that. And then immediately after that, I played Dead or Alive 6. And I don't like Dead or Alive. As a fighting game fan, I do not like that series. That series is all about tits and ass and not the mechanics.
Well, they did say that they were going to change that in this last
And
one,
they
so.
did.
Yes.
And they actually freaking did. And now the game is actually like
Trash.
fun. Okay, that's fair. But
I mean, it was trashy before, but you take away the fan service and you actually make it good. It's like you took my porn and actually fleshed out the story. Like, yeah, it's a good story and I like it, but come on.
I never cared about the story. I'm not even getting into it. There's something about like some sort of corporation, because of course there is, and I don't know. Look, in Dead or Alive 5, there's a feature where you can turn on the motion control within the controller, the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 controller, go like this, and it makes the boobs jiggle.
And that's why we bought it.
Because of the awesome boob physics.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is actually funny because they got completely ridiculous in 4 because they're going like boing, boing, and it's like boobs don't do that.
Yeah,
and
pretty
then,
much.
And then Extreme Beach Volleyball, they start going boinga, 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 boinga on
Right.
their own.
Yeah, they
Going
were
with
going
their
on
own.
their own. That
And they're
was
like, okay, look, boobs don't do that. They just don't.
That was
so
scary.
Went, fine, fuck it. You do it yourself. Do this. Do this. Have fun. Do this. See what happens. It'll be fun.
Sorry, ladies. It's just a thing. It's a thing.
It's look, the game was made by a developer that was sexist. Let's just call it a spade.
And infatuated with boobs, apparently.
Yeah, and he got fired for sexual harassment. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
He's not there anymore though. So now that the people who are making it have now decided, let's actually make a fighting game, and they have done a pretty good job. When Dead or Alive 6 comes out, I want to get it.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah,
Which
as
is
much
weird to
as I
say,
joke-
but fuck it. A good game is a good game. I don't care.
as much as I joke about it, yeah, I mean it's good to see that a game is actually good and not just fan service first and foremost. You want fan service. That's why you have the beach volleyball sub-series type
Yeah.
of thing. Because let's be completely honest, that is 100% fan service.
Yeah.
But if you have a fighting game, yeah, have them in scantily clad clothing. But if the mechanics are not good, if it's not fun to play, then what's the point? I can
No.
look up porn on the internet for free. I don't need to buy $60 for insane boot physics.
There's a stream that I did years ago with a couple of my friends. My friend and his fiance at the time, or I think they were already married. And they were playing Dead or Alive 5, and my friend was kicking her ass, his wife's ass. And I came, okay. And I had gone to the bathroom or something, and then I came back and said, "So how's it going?" And he's like, "Oh, well, he's kicking my ass." And I said, "Just mash buttons." As
She started winning.
The moment I said that, she went, "Okay." And she started mashing buttons. She kicked his ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She started
That's
winning.
what that game is. And then I said, "Okay, that's what the game is." And my friend was like, "Let's see, let's go." And I said, "Okay, look, I'm just going to mash buttons." I think I went 15-0.
Just mashing buttons. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, yeah, this is what this fucking game is. You can't do that. But they've stopped that. It seems. I played some of the beta and I liked it and I enjoyed it and I liked the mechanics. Who knows? Maybe that's still a problem, but we'll have to see until the full game is out. And based on the beta, it doesn't seem like there'll be a problem. And that's how that sold me on it. So,
What about you, Shawn?
Me, the most prominent one that I can think of was actually Doom. Because I never had really any interest in the Doom series. It was a shooter. And basically, that was my thought process on it. And then it wasn't actually the open beta that came out. There was actually a Doom demo that came out on PS4. And so I was like, you know what? I don't really know about this. Fine, I'll go in and I'll play it. I played it and I fucking loved it so much. I was just like, okay, that's the next game I'm getting. I went down, got me a copy of Doom, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And if I look back even further in my childhood, one of the older games that I had on a actual demo disc was Crash.
Doom. oh, sorry. Now that I think
am
about
not-
it, that probably is my most popular demo game ever.
I'm not that old. I am so sorry.
I hate you, but yes.
I was born in '93.
Okay, fine. I'm old.
But
I have not seen this in a very long time.
Yeah. I'm old.
But yeah, like Crash to Insanity from an old demo disc made me excited for it. So much so that I went in, got it, played it, enjoyed it. And I just want to say, a demo can go the other way. I mean, who played Fallout 76 and didn't get it because it was terrible? I bought the game, but I'm a sucker for it. But
again, like I said before, because of the nature of the game and the freaking Destiny experience I've had, just have patience. It will get good.
Did you know that the latest update put back in bugs that had already been fixed?
Yep.
Yeah, they'll fix it. It'll be better. Give it another 6 months or so. It'll have more content. It'll be better. Just be patient. Be patient. Mind you, I don't have the game and I'm not buying it, even though I can probably get it at GameFly for like what, $13 now? It's like $17 now at GameFly. But
don't worry, I think you can buy anything at GameStop and they'll be like, here, have a free copy of Fallout 76
with all your purchase.
no, I don't want that. It's like, please.
No, they're doing that with Battlefield now.
That's sad because I've heard Battlefield was actually decent.
I love Battlefield. I have a great time with it.
You know what? Battlefield 5, and Battlefield 1, both of those had open betas. And I remember playing the Battlefield 1 beta. I had so much fucking fun with that. I think it was just the map that was on and the videos that were on there. I just remember having so much fun with my friends on that. And then whenever the Fallout, why not go back to Fallout? The Battlefield 5 beta came out.
Can't escape it.
It's because I have it sitting here. I'm like, but when the Battlefield 5 beta came out, I remember playing with my friends, and we didn't have fun with it. It was just at the point where we just, it was a similar experience, but we were just not having so much fun with it. So we didn't buy the game. But for Battlefield 1, we bought it. It's sitting there on my shelf. So I think a demo and a beta is very powerful to try to drive sales and try to get that. And BJ, I'm pretty sure that when you played if you played the Battlefield 5 beta or if you played it at all, that probably influenced you to get that even more.
Oh yeah, it did. It made me want to get it.
And even then, it's incredibly powerful and it's great. It's a great marketing tool for people who want to go out there and want to purchase it. And even then, I've never purchased Battlefield 5, but I did put in a couple hours into it and realized maybe it's not my thing. And I think
that's what it's for.
Yeah. And I think with Steam and other game companies probably slowly going to like return policies on that, you're just going to see less and less of those because you're going to have those open betas, you're going to have those demos where people are saying, hey, I played this, I'm not into it, or hey, I played this, I absolutely love it, I want more of it. I think it's nothing but good, and I want to see more of these in the future.
Yeah.
Betas.
Cool.
I had a great time with Division 2's beta. It was really good. It made me want to buy the game.
Yeah.
I think you were pretty sold on the game already, though, but that got you more hyped.
Honestly, I kind of was on the fence about it. I knew that I was probably going to get it. I just didn't know when I wanted to get it. And then when I played it, it put me at a point where I was like, okay, I want to play it when it comes out.
Yeah, another one for me, Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Oh, fuck, yes.
Yeah. I think that blew everybody's mind when that dropped. I almost bought that. I don't even play fighters that much. I was like, oh, snap, this is bonkers. I got to get it. I'm probably not going to play it because I suck. Dang it.
Like, I suck at it. I will tell you I suck at it. It's not on my Xbox anymore because I do suck at it. But you know what? I had fun with it.
Yeah, that's the primary reason I did not buy that game is because my sons love Dragon Ball Z. And if I had it at my house, they would steadily whoop my ass every day. So to prevent that from happening, I'm not even getting it. I was like, y'all can keep that at y'all's house. I'm not bringing it here to whip Daddy's ass. Daddy wins all the games here, daggone it. My house.
I love that beta. I still don't have that game. I still want it. The only reason why I didn't get it was, honestly, it came out and I didn't have the money. It's literally the only reason. And then it just things kept coming by. There's a few games like that. Like I still don't have the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy. I freaking love the Crash Bandicoot games. I need to get that thing.
I think you can get it relatively cheap.
Yeah. Also, the other thing is it's an Activision game, which means they'll never drop the freaking price. So
they actually have they bundled it with the Spyro trilogy for like $25.
No, it was 60. I remember when it came out, it was 60. I remember that.
No, well, whenever it came out, but now whenever you look at it, I think they have it bundled for a reduced price. If you look
the cheapest I remember seeing it was like Black Friday last year or something like that, and it was $20. Whenever you see it now, it's still like 30. So like normal price. Just looking for the right sale, and if I happen to have the money, you know how it is.
Money.
Yeah, it's always about money. We're not rich, so yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that one.
Mhm.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was this episode of Shade of Pistols podcast. We love having you here. We love talking, of course. And we would want you to come back and join us again next week. We're here on Tuesdays, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, or not Central, 7 p.m. Pacific. Those are not the same thing. So, but if you can't catch us live, that's completely fine. You can always listen to us in your wonderful ears. You can hear our wonderful voices on Wednesday nights at the same time, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And if you want to see our lovely faces as long as well.
Wait, tell them where they can hear us.
Oh, of course. I mean, you can find us on podcast.com, Spotify, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.
There you go.
And then, whenever you catch us live, you'll catch us on Twitch, twitch.tv/shadedpixels. And if you want to catch us on YouTube, we are on there on Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific at bit.ly/shadedpixels. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. And if you want to know where to find all of us, you can just look at the screen right now. You see it. You see it right now.
Yes.
And Shaded Pixels. And Shaded Pixels podcast. Just Google it. You'll find us. You'll find us somewhere on the internet.
It's on the screen. It's to the right down. Nope. No,
It's
that's
down
wrong.
there.
Right there. Right there.
It's right there.
It's somewhere. And you can find us. And you can
Yeah,
listen.
man. Yeah, man.
All right. BJ, where
Yeah,
can they
man.
find you? Where can they hear you at?
Nowhere. No, I'm just playing. You go in the interwebs, you hit Bunny 3000 as you see below me over here on the Twitter sphere, on the Twitch sphere, on the Mixer sphere, on the YouTube sphere, maybe even on the Facebook sphere. That's about it. I don't do no Snapchat. I don't do no Instagram because I'm old. Okay, I'm old. Go
Not
all
that
those
old.
other places.
Otherwise, you'd be like, check out my
my MySpace page, my YouTube, my AOL page. But yeah, I haven't been very active the past couple of weeks. It's been kind of rough, but I'm hoping once Anthem comes out, I'll be able to have a bit of time to just stream some grinding, because from my understanding, that's what that game is all about, grinding. So come watch me grind.
Grinding.
On that grind. All right. Esteban, you've been pretty busy. What have you been up to?
I've been pretty busy and also not busy at all. I can't do the amount of content that I used to be able to do because my computer is dying on me, which means that I cannot make videos anymore and I can't make as high quality streams as I used to. And it's going to be like that for probably the remainder of the year, which sucks. In the meantime, what I've been doing is I've been ramping up writing. My Gaming Landscape has returned as a written post, so always check that out on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. where I talk about the various video games that I've been playing and give you my impressions of them. I also catch up on my collection because people seem to like that. Other than that, I am attempting to do ghetto ass PlayStation 4 streams. That's what they are. Because the quality is okay.
It's something. It's content.
It's something. It's content.
It's content.
And since that's all I can really do, I'm going to be trying to do that a lot. So pretty much any game that I have, I'm going to be trying to make a show out of it somehow. I got the Metro games, the first two, since the third one just came out. I'm going to try those out. Those are scary games. So guess what? I guess I got a scary game show coming up. I think I'm going to call it exposure therapy because I do not like scary things.
I would probably
I have a
not
phobia
call it
about
that,
Huh?
because exposure can mean something else.
Oh, like?
Exposure.
Well, I don't have a freaking PlayStation camera, so I can't do that. Not that I would.
Oh, you would.
Shawn.
We know you. We know you,
Oh, like I
Esteban.
would
You
do
would.
something like that.
Yes, he would, Heartbreak Kid. He's just a sexy boy.
Sexy
He's not your
boy.
boy toy.
Getcha. Yeah, you walked into that one, Sean. You gotta admit it.
Harry.
You walked into
Harry.
that one.
I'm the master of walking into things.
Anyway, twitch.tv/Hey Colorwind. I'm going to be playing a bunch of games there. That's the long and short of it.
Getcha.
All right. Well, as for my content, I will not be exposing myself on camera.
Ah, boo.
I know. Calm yourself. I've been wanting to do a video about Battle Royale games, but every single time I try to be like, you know what, I got this finalized, another one comes out, and I'm just like, after Tetris 99, I said, fuck it, I will stay with what
by the way, that proves this thing is not a genre. How the fucking Apex Legends and Tetris 99 be the same genre? No way.
Hey, innovation.
It's a mode. It's a game mechanic.
Innovation, right? No, that's not okay. I tried.
Shawn is dead. Sad enough.
I need a drink. But yeah, I've been trying to make a video on that, but they keep on just making those. So I have something in the works. I'm also going to be doing something I've been wanting to do in a bigger form, but I'm going to try to do a TV series review. I just got finished watching The Umbrella Academy, so I have some thoughts on that I want to share. You can always get my videos. I've been slacking off on my Monday videos just because that type of content. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do there. But on Wednesdays, you can find my Throwback Arcade. I think I have a pretty good selection on there right now. I have a weird one coming up tomorrow, which is going to be great. I actually have a weird couple coming out tomorrow. So you can always catch me Twitter at Little Big Ham, on Twitch. I'm actually going to try streaming just once.
Wow. You got the connection for that?
No, but I'm going to try. God damn it.
Fair enough. Okay.
So I might try to do that. Either sometime this week, I'm going to try it. If you see it lasting for like 1 minute, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
But you can find me on Facebook at Shawn Studios, and you can also find me on YouTube at Shawn Studios. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the Shaded Pixels podcast. We have a lot of fun here. We wish you a lot of fun at home. We'll see you all next week.